Warning: bad or taboo language.
Possibly.
Think so.
Recording in progress. You're on, Matt.
That's
Thank you.
the opening. That's the opening. Full stop.
Recording in progress, apart from the one where we split them in two. That doesn't have a recording in progress because it was split in two, but I might overdub it. Oh no, can't be bothered. We've already done it. Good morning.
Morning to me.
And
Hello to
yes,
everybody else.
yes. That's another running theme, isn't it? Who are we actually talking
Who are
to?
we talking to? Who are we talking to?
Well, on this
We're
medium,
talking. Technically, we're talking to ourselves, aren't we?
exactly.
Kin.
Yeah, good morning to everybody who's watching. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody who's about to watch, because of course this is going to go viral any minute soon.
Any second, any
Any
day,
second in the next
any day.
decade,
This
maybe.
might help. What if introducing you to Dumpling, who's an absolute
What?
diamond.
Hang on, what did you call it? Dump thing?
Dumpling,
Dumpling!
dumpling. She's a little dumpling.
Is that a hen?
That's a little hen. It's a
Yeah.
cross silky bantam. Um, we saved her life twice because she was abandoned by her mum, kind of thing. Well, the other chicks grew up, but she was just left freezing, so we kept bringing her in. She's not a house chicken, but she's been a bit slow this week, so we're not sure why. So we brought her in for observation. But she is an adventurer.
Hello,
I'm gonna say hello.
Dumpling.
Gonna say hello, dumpling. No, she can see out the window. She's like, freedom.
She's
You'll be
quite
back out
tame.
there soon enough, little lady.
So here's the latest, another mug.
Oh,
Another mug. Oh, why is it reversed? Is that reversed on your screen?
be happy. Be
Be
happy.
happy.
It's the right way round.
It's not for me. And now
Oh, we zoomed in on that coat again.
a
What's going
bloody
on with your
coat.
coat?
My coat thing,
Seems to have
which
its
I
own
cut out of
consciousness.
episode 10.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But I wanted to have a bit of fun. You'll see it when you
okay.
by
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
now our viewer and
Zzz,
our
zzz,
subscriber will
zzz.
will have seen episode 10, of course, and
Yeah, we
will
would
know
have
what
by
I'm
now.
talking about. But at the time
Mm,
of recording, you've clearly not seen it.
I've not seen it. I don't think you've sent it to me yet, have you?
Well, I did on that text.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's right. Yeah,
um,
yeah. Burp, 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 burp. Yeah.
so let's just go. Let's just pause for a second.
Take a breath.
Eric Mark II is called I'm go- Dumpling.
Dumpling. Well, Dumpling's a chicken and Eric's a horse, but yeah, Eric Mark too, but yeah,
Well, Eric was the star of episodes 9 and 10, despite never making it onto screen.
yeah.
And so now,
Maybe I'll share a short on YouTube of I found it quite funny. I shared it on the Free Man community the other week, didn't I? When I was doing a recording and Eric walked into shot behind me,
so
and
you,
then he kind of looked up at the camera and realized that he'd walked into shot while I was recording, so he backed up and then took a sidestep out of shot, which I just found absolutely hilarious for some reason. But just shows that consciousness again, the awareness from the horse. He's like, "Uh-oh, I'm on camera."
but he,
Which
he, he doesn't want to be on camera. He just
he
likes
didn't want to be.
being disruptive from the sidelines.
He does.
Okay, totally
Cool.
unscripted. This.
You wouldn't be able to tell, would you?
I don't
Wouldn't
think
be able to
so.
tell.
I think it's
No.
smooth as anything.
Mm.
Absolutely smooth. And now I'm just this whole technological world. I don't understand why my video is set up slightly different. I've done nothing different. So like normally it's more like here. Anyway, right. Yeah, there
There
we
you go.
are. Hi.
There you go.
Hi. Right, stay in shot, Stephen. Get off that bloody jacket. It's irrelevant. Um,
There's something in it. There's something going on with the jacket. The
maybe it's
AI
possessed.
knows it's watching you.
Well, Skynet can go. Oh, we're not 5 minutes in. Cyberdyne systems are
Mm,
watching you. Everybody thinks the Terminator was fiction, but it's a documentary from the
yeah,
future, sent back in
yeah,
time,
it
naked.
is. It is.
Yeah, warning us. But
They're
we're not
coming
reading.
for us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I was actually speaking to a computer programmer, software guy, like not a developer, like somebody who gets into the nuts and bolts of the code.
Hmm.
So proper skilled, I guess. And I was like,
Hacker.
oh, no. Well, all right. You've got a cat called Neo, so we'll go with it, right?
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
talking to Neo.
Yeah.
He warned me about the Matrix.
Hmm.
He said, catnip's great. You should try it. Did Neo, the cat hacker. But anyway, this programmer, he's not as worried about AI as everybody else.
No.
There's a lot of noise about it, a lot of fear around it, and I was like, what's your take? Because you'll be out of a job soon if you've got generative
Mm.
AI and all of that. And that was kind of where I was coming from, but I was also, these are the people who are at the cutting edge of it. You must
Yeah.
understand me, because I can't even do maths, never mind program a computer. And he was very blasé. He just still sees it as machine learning, which is, and
Yeah.
the publicity about the generative AI and the singularity, and it's about to take over the world and become Terminator-like. He was very relaxed about it. He still
Mm.
believes that everything needs its commands and its inputs, and it's all constrained, and that a lot of it's marketing guff. Um,
I've been using ChatGPT recently, and I'm not going to lie, it's a bit weird. It's good. I love it. It's great. It's really handy, but it is a bit weird because it does come across as uh, like it's trying to be. It's relatable. Like, it spurs me on. It
nice
gives
for
me
you,
words
is
of
it, Matt?
encouragement. It even tries to tell jokes. And it's like, this is really weird. It called me brother the other day. I hope it goes well for you, brother. And I was like, this is a bit weird, man.
Does it
And then
do
it
dream
can,
interpretation?
probably,
Because
probably.
I've been having these freaky dreams,
Hmm.
and I've been trying to work out what they mean.
Okay, maybe
Wake
we
up
could
in the
do a
middle.
live, maybe we could do a live thing. You could text it to me and I could input it and we can see what it says if you want
Well,
me
you
to.
could do, but I'll just tell you quickly because I do actually think I might have got to the bottom of it because I've been looking into this in connection with the woo-woo. Apparently, if you see your body, it's like if you see a car, that's indicative of your body. So if your car's breaking down, it's telling you that your body's breaking down. But in these dreams, I've been waking up in a sweat trying to deliver a baby,
Oh,
and it's been going really badly. And now I've realised it's a midwife crisis. Boom! Thank you, Graham, for that joke. I'm so sorry.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned. Totally
Graham,
stunned.
Graham, I won't say his
Good.
surname. Thank you, Graham. I told you I'd use it. It got even less laughs than the time you told me, Graham. I'm so sorry, Matt.
I
And
mean,
everybody watching.
even Dumpling's appalled. She's appalled. She's hiding in the
Oh,
corner now, so
yeah.
she can't even face me.
Oh, dream interpretation and a serious point. I mean, the seeing a car or a vehicle in the dream.
Mm.
And this is not a joke. I've delivered my one joke for the year. So, um, vehicles represent the body.
Hmm.
You're trying. I'm so curious about what you're thinking. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I want a bit of fig roll. Just thinking about my belly.
And the weird thing is that we don't. I love fig rolls.
Mm.
We haven't eaten one for months and months and months and months and months, if not years. And this week, my wife brought some back. Now, after
There you go.
you did yoga with us last night, or we did yoga
Mm.
with you last night. And after I got back, she was munching on fig rolls, but I passed.
Mm.
I actually
Wow.
managed. Yeah,
They
believe
are
it or
strangely addictive, aren't they? There's
not.
something about them. Well, it's probably the amount of sugar in them, but they're
Yeah,
bloody good.
they're very good.
They are
Very
really
good.
good.
So, do you want to put the packet up for when we get monetized?
And that's all I've got. That's all I've got in front of me, I'm afraid.
Homemade fig rolls by Matt
Mm.
Topman, rocking and rolling.
Sorry. I
So
hope you
we
can't
did.
hear me masticating. Yeah. That's it.
Honestly, I mean.
I'll
Um,
leave it there.
what's Dumpling doing under the desk? Oh, do you know, I was only looking, I was posting a video on YouTube, I was scheduling a video and something else that one of my other little, not say this is a little project, but a little project, if you like, side project. And I realized that you can select categories. So that one's gone in people and blogs, and I think I must put this in people and blogs. Started to think we should put this in comedy. Not that,
Yeah,
not that
not
anybody,
that. Yeah.
anybody's going to laugh at anything.
I don't know whether they'll be laughing with or laughing at. I don't know. That's
They just won't be
but
laughing. Full stop, man.
laughing is the medicine. So as long as they're laughing, it don't matter if it's with or at, does it?
Oh God, no. And to be honest,
Laugh away, laugh away.
laugh away, MFs.
That's it.
And my computer backing up or something because no, the signal went. But anyway, right. So let's just try to talk about something vaguely related to the woo woo
Yes, we had a request, haven't we?
pyramids.
There you go.
Pyramids.
Shout out to Amy.
Amy,
Amy, and
you Amy.
she wasn't even a viewer, and she's
She
put a
still
request
isn't.
in. So
She's very lovely and very polite and said,
yeah, she's
would
an
you send me
amazing
a
woman.
link? And so, yeah. But she
Yeah.
said, would you talk about, I'm not doing the glasses thing. Just sometimes it's more comfy to not have them on. Um,
Okay, that's blurred out.
I know.
Put it in front of your face, maybe. No, there you go. Signs and symbols. Okay. Did you buy that especially for the?
No, it was on my shelf from ages ago. And then when I don't know, I was looking for something else the other day and I found this and it's fairly relevant because there's all sorts of stuff in it. The pyramid is a symbol of ascension, erected in alignment with the sun and stars to create a passageway between earth and the heavens by which the dead pharaoh could cross to the afterlife. In the Western Hermetic tradition, the pyramid combines the symbolism of the square with the triangle. The symbolism of the pyramid is also linked with the mound and cosmic mountain, thought to resemble the hill that emerged from the primeval waters when the earth was created. So, a symbol of the power of life over death. And all that is a load of bollocks because, no, that it's not. But the
I thought there was going to be something majorly controversial there, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. Where are we going with this?"
no, but the from from a variety of esoteric podcasts that I am particular to, what comes through quite strongly is that the cutting edge theories about this is that it's got nothing to do with dead pharaohs, nothing to do with
Hmm.
tombs. They weren't tombs. The be careful, but like it is suggested, allegedly, not that we know this one way or the other, that the Egyptian authorities don't particularly want the full truth to come out. I don't know whether that's true or not. That's what some people in the woo-woo suggest.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say that just as a passing comment of curiosity. It may or may not be true. Don't really care whether it's true or not. Clearly, it's like one of these things in life where we don't know everything. Me and you will never know everything. We can only go on what we know, what we think we know, and what people are telling us. So that's a big caveat. That's the disclaimer for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they believe that these pyramids, are, amongst other things, are stargates
Mm-hmm.
to other dimensions or other parts of the universe. Nikola Tesla apparently believed that they were electricity generators.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that description from that book, which represents kind of generic mainstream thinking about it, is not that far off what we've just said.
Well, I mean, the dimensions and stuff like that, they're all pretty bloody amazing. For starters, the way they have lined up with the stars and the planets around us, and how, like, what is it, the circumference of the base of the Great Pyramid is the same as the circumference of the Earth and all that kind of stuff. So the statistics and the measurements and the dimensions are all absolutely phenomenal in their own right.
Hmm.
So I'd agree with that from the mainstream, but they can't really hide that kind of information because it's right in front of you. But yeah,
It's
yeah, I don't
serious, isn't
believe.
it? it's the star
Yeah.
system
Mm.
Sirius that they
Yeah, the chambers align up with. Yeah.
well I think that yeah. I'm not sure about the chambers.
Or
I
the
thought it was the pyramids themselves.
ah.
Um, but then you see,
But even some of those shafts that come out, they're aligned with stars as well, aren't
yeah,
they? It's
yeah,
absolute like
plenty.
it's yeah. The
And I have heard that in one of, I think in the Great Pyramid, there is a shaft that goes all the way up that is like tiny.
mm,
They've got like a tiny robot that was going up.
mm,
And you think, well, what's that for? Some people think it's
yeah,
ventilation. It could be. Um, but I think the truth is that for the average person, we're never really going to know. And I'm not even sure that the people who are studying them will really ever know because they're
yeah.
thousands of years old. We don't even know what happened to some of our soldiers in World War II,
Mm.
for example.
There's a guy who's a bit crazy. It's really hard videos to watch. Catfish. Um, can't remember his proper name now, but he's on YouTube or Rumble and stuff like that, and he's got some really interesting views on the hieroglyphs and stuff like that, and how the drawings and whatnot correspond to magnetic fields and sound frequencies and all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. And it is like I said to you about it's the harmonic plates. I'm going to call them that because I can't remember the name of them. But the vibrating plates where the sound and shifts. And I mentioned it. It's like I can't remember the
Mentioned this.
hertz, but again, those symbols are on the wall, and that's you can prove that just by getting the vibrating plate and get. What did you say it was? Sorry, did you say?
No, no, I said you
No.
mentioned it in a different episode.
Yeah, yeah. So it's and then all the really need my mate Jez on this one because he knows it inside out and back to front. But like the blue sun, the blue Kachina, so there's apparently three suns that come through our solar system. We've got the big one in the middle, and then there's other ones that are on a bigger orbit that come out and come back into our solar system. Um, and all the magnetic frequencies are kind of documented in the hieroglyphs up the side of the wall in the pyramids and stuff like that. So all that kind of information, it's the same as the Hopi people in South America that have documented kind of timelines on stones, and one continues off around the corner of the stone, and the other one goes a bit hectic and crazy, and it's just telling that the cycles. It's meant to be like a 26,000 year cycle of life and rebirth and death and rebirth and stuff like that,
But
which is
this
all
is it.
interesting.
Everybody thinks about the
Mm,
pyramids in terms of the Egyptian pyramids, but there are many, many
mm.
pyramids throughout the
All
world.
over, yeah. And that's
Um,
I don't know if you've ever heard of the law of one,
yeah, I have that.
series of books. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a
yeah,
PDF of that on my
yeah,
desktop, but I
yeah.
downloaded it and never managed to read
To
due to
read, yeah. It's a really good
laziness.
read. It's yeah, no, it's a really good read. I've only read the first book. I did start on the second book. Um, but they talk about the healing properties of pyramids as well, because they create a vortex of energy. So pyramids are positioned around the planet on ley lines, and the vortexes of energy within the pyramids actually kind of balance out the energy around the planet on the ley lines around the planet as well. So yeah, I mean, there's so many different theories around the pyramids. Like
It's fascinating.
it is absolutely fascinating.
I was just going to
Yeah.
come in then, but I've lost my thought. One of my thoughts was around, it's not quite linked to the pyramids, but
Mm,
it's like, well, yeah, a couple of thoughts around this specifically related to the pyramids. One was that they're a stargate also linking to the
hmm
sun, which is also believed to be a wormhole or a stargate.
hmm
I don't know. I've never been there through it. I don't really like we talk about the knowing, the intuition a lot, me and you, when we're not on this. And it's not these things are not things that I know
mm.
or intuit, so I'm not sure personally. But
Yeah.
what I do know is that I've never been to the pyramids.
Mm,
Have
yeah.
you?
No. No.
How many people have you met that have been?
A couple,
Hmm.
a couple,
I,
and they seem to come back and I don't know. They don't really say a lot about it. It's more the touristy kind of. They're amazing. They're a sight to see, and they're
yeah,
brilliant in their awe and their magnificence, but not really about some of the magic woo behind it because there's so much mystery in it.
yeah. My
Oh.
parents went.
Mm,
They were impressed, but again, they didn't say a massive amount. Um, my parents-in-law, I think, No, actually, I haven't been. I certainly know my mother-in-law hasn't been. I did meet somebody the other week, not long ago, who'd just been on a trip to the
Mm.
pyramids, and I and it was on a relatively, I wanted to say special trip, but like I don't know. He or she tried to make it out to be special, like they paid some people to go into a special chamber and meditated in this special chamber, which they're not supposed to do. But I get the impression that probably everybody does it.
I've heard that that does happen. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I've heard about gong bars and stuff like that in
yeah,
there, or even just mantras and stuff like that. Again, because
yeah,
of the engineering and the echo chambers and stuff and the
yeah.
frequencies that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the amount of money that was paid to access this space
Mm,
wasn't astronomical, but it was a lot. And you only think, wow,
mm,
this is all a bit weird. But I then asked that person, so that person was full of it because they had just only like within the week before I met with them, or yeah, just met them, um, had got back and then was going on about this. And so I was like, well, did you feel anything? And they said, no, not me, but other people were reporting that they were feeling things and experiencing things.
mm,
And then you hear about um, people like through the QHHT training or through Dolores's various media, she would be talking about people who under who'd gone to one person went to the pyramids and lost time. This concept of you lose time, you're there, and then you black out for you. You go
hmm.
away somewhere, and like, what's a second for a person next to you?
Yeah. Mm,
It feels like it's a second to them, but you've been gone for like a long time. That person, it happened to that person, and then they went under the deep hypnosis of QHHT, and it was discovered that they were like former priests in the temples and all of
mm.
this. So there are people who go there and have a fairly profound experience, and now I'm starting to talk. I mean, I have a son now, but one of the things at one point I wasn't that bothered about having children, and I was saying to my wife, I need to see the pyramids before I have a child, and I never did it, and now I don't
Mm.
regret it because having a child was amazing.
Better than seeing the pyramids for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely, totally. And now I'm kind of even with exposing myself to
Mm,
the woo woo or whatever.
yeah.
I'm even like starting to not really be bothered that much
Mm.
because a
I mean,
lot
if I
better.
went, I would like full access. That's the problem. I wouldn't like to go on a tourist thing. I'd really like to to get stuck in and
Well,
go with some like a woo specialist in the pyramid really to really open up the secrets of it. Like
yeah,
and really talk about the I mean, because the energy fields in that place are phenomenal, aren't they? I mean,
so they say.
what you hear anyway, like whether it's sound or I think the water woman, I can never remember her name now, but the one that kind of is developing the hydroglyphs rather than hieroglyphs. I can't remember what her name is. I'm so bad for names, but yeah, I mean, I think she did a ceremony down in there and like mixed with water, and she said that there was energy moving around in the water and stuff, and you know,
I'm
but
sure there will be.
it's just
They,
yeah,
they had to be. They were constructed for some reason.
yeah,
I mean, there's
and
talk
that
about like lots of chambers under the pores of the Sphinx. I know it's not strictly a pyramid. And then one of the psychics that was, this Carol Pate, I think it was. Sure, it was her. You can look her up. That one of the podcast. I was telling you about her. And one of the reasons I like her is because
mm,
I heard her do a presentation, and she's like, "Beware, because there's loads of charlatans out there." And
yeah,
I'm one of the most cynical, skeptical people that's alive, and she's a psychic, but she's kind of got the what people call the gift, but didn't want it and doesn't want it particularly. But she
yeah,
went to the pyramids, and some of the things she's reporting on her Ozark Mountain Publishing Transformation podcast, you can find it. Um, some of the things she was reporting are like, wow, like battles under the Sphinx and flooded chambers and the rest of it. So the only thing I would think is that they must have been constructed for a reason, and I
Have
don't
you seen
quite
the
buy it.
I've seen the new finding about the shafts now that look like almost like an elevator shaft supporting the pyramids that come out about 3 months ago. They found some like cavernous. There's four pillars or something. I can't remember which pyramid it's underneath, but there's like four pillars underneath, and there's like spiral kind of thing. So it looks like it actually some sort of like elevator platform or something like that. But they've just
Um,
been discovered by the sonar, whatever they use to register that. So I mean, that's again a further engineering feat on top of what we already expect as being an engineering feat, isn't it? So,
yeah, one guy was doing presentation. Yeah, so just one guy was doing presentations on this. I didn't really listen to his whole presentation. I couldn't
mm,
quite tune into his presentation style. We're all just different.
mm,
No, sorry, different guy. He reckons they're more than 10,500 years ago. He reckons that the flood of biblical myth, it was about 10,500 years ago, and that the pyramids
mm,
predate it,
mm,
um, which would be quite amazing. But even if that's not the case, they're still amazing,
yeah.
from what I can tell. Um, but I'm afraid, Amy, we probably don't know much more than you than this,
Well,
about
is it like you mentioned about using it as teleportation, didn't you? What was it? Stargate kind of
Stargate.
thing.
Mm.
Stargate kind of thing. And in other civilizations around the world, there were reports of, I don't know if you ever heard of the ant people. Have you heard of the ant people? Have you heard of them? No. Um,
Not sure. Just I might have done.
yeah, so like during previous, and it's interesting you just said that the pyramids may be longer before the Great Flood and stuff like that, because there have been cataclysms on the Earth anyway. So there's like quartz rock around the world, which is made of like quartz
Yeah,
material.
which
You
conducts
know,
vibration.
I'll talk about in yin, and the compression of the quartz generates an electrical charge, and there's like doorways cut into solid rock, but they're just kind of set in like a chimney breast in a wall, for example. So there's these massive rocks, and then there's like just this set back bit of rock, and there's reports from folklore, if you wish, stories, drawings on walls and stuff of how these stones, these doorways used to light up and people used to come through the doorways like teleportation, like vortexes, stargates kind of thing. They used to come round and but just before it used to happen quite often before cataclysm. Again, this is reported from the Hopi people as well, that different entities would come through and they all carry this little bag. They got this little handbag. It looks like a little handbag, and they have some sort of like watch-like device on their hand, on their wrist as well. It's all in, even in sculptures and stuff like that around the world. And these people, these ant people particularly, would come out of these doors and then collect the population that was around and take them into the tunnels underground and then keep them safe for the duration of the cataclysm that was happening above
Right.
ground.
Mm.
And then when it passed, they'd come back up and let the humans back out and
Mm.
re-inhabit the earth and stuff like that. Um, Göbekli Temple. I've probably pronounced that wrong. I always get it wrong. It's in Turkey. Like
Yeah.
that's
Gobleki.
yeah, yeah,
Tapi. Yeah, I
yeah.
know. Yeah, I think I know which one.
That's one of the oldest ones. And what the interesting thing that they found, because they thought that was one of the oldest civilizations, like advanced civilizations,
Mm-hmm.
was that that was actually buried. For starters, that was actually buried, and then secondly, they found a civilization not too far away from it in Turkey, which was actually at the end of its era at the time as this other one was buried. So that one is even older than the one that was buried, like, you know. So there's so much that we don't know about this planet. There's so much that, or maybe people do know that the public don't know. Um,
And then,
it's really fascinating what is available. We know, you know, quartz crystal generates electricity, and we like even Stonehenge as well. That's been recognized to have quartz in it. So are those harmonics, are they able to be stimulated and generate electricity to be used as portals? It's one universe, but how many different pockets within the universe? Like, it's not multi-universal, but how many little subsections of a universe? We've got planets as we see in our reality, but how many kind of little subsections, layers
How
are
many
there?
dimensions are there?
Yeah, different frequencies, different, even looking, we see a certain spectrum of light, don't we? But if you're
Yeah.
outside of our vision, there's a whole world that we cannot see, but it still exists,
Well, I
and then
think, as
how far does that go?
I said
Yeah,
exactly this the other day.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly the same thing. Like
Mm,
we can see a certain amount of the visible, what with the visible spectrum of light, and
mm,
then there's invisible to us.
mm. And
So
again, if you look at people, yeah, why, yeah,
why do we
yeah,
think that why do we think that we know everything? Why do we think that we experience everything? Why do we think that everything that there is here now in the physical?
yeah,
When
yeah,
our own scientists, so we
yeah.
now put a lot of faith in science as
A
opposed to
new
putting our
religion.
faith in religion, yeah. So okay, so let's take our scientists are telling us, and we have faith in our scientists aren't, we have faith in the scientific method. The scientific method tells us that there is stuff that we cannot see and cannot hear, but it exists.
Mm,
So we accept that as a given.
yeah. But
And
then when you talk about this kind of stuff, it's like, oh no, that's crazy.
yeah, and until the scientific method uncovered the infrared part of the spectrum, for one
Mm,
example,
mm.
it didn't exist, did it? Because they didn't
No,
know it existed.
exactly.
Nobody knew it existed. But it
Yeah.
did exist.
Mm,
oh, take a less controversial example, electricity.
yeah. Yeah.
It exists
Which,
now in the 2025.
mm,
In 1600, it didn't exist.
it didn't exist. Yeah.
But the
Even though it
general
used to fall
population,
out the sky all the time,
but it
and
existed.
and we're powered by it.
Yeah, but
I
do you
mean,
see what I mean? Like we
yeah,
didn't,
yeah, totally. Yeah.
people
Yeah.
didn't
Until
know.
an inventor come along and said, this is what
Yeah,
this is.
can
Yeah.
harness it. Oh,
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla for one.
Yeah. Yeah.
We come back to him.
We can light up this bulb.
Yeah,
Magic.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
And so it's not that it didn't exist. In that
mm,
it may have existed, and we may have known it existed in the form of lightning or whatever,
mm.
but we didn't know we could harness it. So it didn't harm it didn't exist, but it did exist.
Yeah.
So then, so like we believe we're told that we can't see infrared, and I'm not aware of any human who claims that they can see infrared other than Geordie LaForge on Star Trek Next
Yeah.
Generation, because he's got his visor.
That is visor.
Yeah, and he can see everything.
Hmm.
But oh, it's fictional. Um,
But
in the
that's
documentary,
yeah.
there's a J in my garden. That's a good sign. Um, so just because, like, we accept that the infrared, right? I suppose they've proven infrared through some kind of experiment, right? But for
Yeah.
the average person sort of knows through the education system that there is an infrared part of the spectrum that we can't see, and just accepts it
Mm. You
without.
get infrared saunas now, don't you? So yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely accepted. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
Um,
I, I, I
it's
don't know. I don't
changing.
know.
It's like people that can see auras as well. Like people can see auras, and that's an electromagnetic field coming out of your body and changing frequency. It comes from your heart, doesn't it? So that's that morphic field. Your aura is that energy. So people are tuning by changing their frequency. They can see different frequencies, can't they? People see ghosts, which, whether you believe the ghost or not, spirits or energy or whatever, it's just a different frequency. It's a shift of frequency, and you're able to tap into that frequency and see things on a different light frequency, a different spectrum. Um, Kind of what I think about telepathy as well. It's just a shift of frequency. If you can get on the same wavelength and frequency as somebody else's brain, then why can't you share that information? Like,
Well, we know that we feel different things from different people. We know
mm,
that we know the people that we feel uneasy around and the people that we
mm-hmm,
feel comfortable around.
mm,
And we know
mm,
that like, you could rationalize it psychologically by saying we pick up non-verbal cues, we pick up
mm-hmm,
verbal cues. and the like. And I'm sure that that's a massive part of it. It has to be a
It
massive
is.
part of it.
It is. Yeah.
But there's also a part of you can spend very little time with somebody and think, I really like you, but you can
Yeah,
spend very little time.
yeah, someone can walk past you, can't they? And you can go,
Yeah.
oh, don't like it, get a shiver or something, and you're like, oh,
Stay
I
away
don't.
from
You
that
can
one.
be a complete stranger, but yeah, you'd know to either have an urge to talk to them or have an urge to just stay the fuck away from them. You know, so
All
it's and
right, we're done sort of
that's
minutes.
we're done. We're
Yeah,
5 minutes from the end rather than the start. So
yeah, yeah. So look, just to as we're probably going to get done over by the Zoom timer again, but um, we should probably think about wrapping it up, and maybe we
I,
need to go off and pay more attention to the pyramids.
I mean,
Um,
there's so much like
mm.
that. Yeah, the law of one again talks about how they were built.
But
Do you know?
wait.
Oh,
Let's do it different. Let's do it a different way because
uh-huh.
we can go into analysis and logic, and from what we've read and what we've heard.
Mm.
Neither me nor you have been there. So, what do you believe, or what do you know? And I'll tell you what I believe and what I know. If you want, I mean, I'll go first if you want, or you go
Okay, I'm
first.
quite happy to go first.
Go
Yeah,
on then.
don't bother to me. I totally believe it's extraterrestrial of some sort. Um, it felt right when I read what I read in the Law of One. It just felt totally right what they were talking about. I think it was there as protection devices for the planet, the harmonics, the frequencies. That totally works for me. Healing, because again, the cathedrals and stuff like that, the pipe organs, all those ancient buildings and technology, the geometric shapes, all of that. It's all sacred geometry. It's all there for our healing, the healing of the planet, the healing of ourselves. I believe in telekinesis as well, thought form and thought frequency. So I believe that the pyramids were built more by using manifestation, thought, and frequency as a collective, not an individual just going, I'm going to move that rock, but as a collective, whatever they were, the entities, whatever they were, whether they're human, part human, completely non-human, or whatever. That's what I believe built them and constructed them for our benefit, for our purpose. And it was humans when they were left in control that kind of distorted the energy from it. That's my belief in a nutshell. I could talk longer, but running out of time. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, when I read and hear that there's some kind of ascension device, and when I hear there's some kind of beneficial device or healing device, could the collector or manipulator or transmitter or transmuter of energy, it makes sense to me, is the best way of putting it.
Mm,
I don't resist that thought in my mind, even though it's very woo-woo.
mm,
I think they are probably, I don't know whether they are alien built. I think if they are, they were probably there as landmarks as much as anything to enable landing. If you look up Zachariah Stetchin, I think it's called the 12th planet. It's a lot of interesting theory based on the Sumerian or the Akkadian
hmm.
uh, myths, like the Gilgamesh myth, etc. And a lot
Well,
of
I
it
mean, his
links,
tomb was found, wasn't it?
yeah,
His
a lot
tomb
of
was found just before the Iraq War, and then the army went in and removed it.
so a lot of this makes sense. What I don't what I believe they are not is a tomb for the pharaohs.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm
Um,
just going to say Veda Austin as well is the woman who walked her. Veda Austin. Hieroglyphs. Yeah, that's their name. I just remembered that at the last minute as well.
Hopefully, her first name isn't Darth. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. See you later.
See
Much
you.
love. Peace
Thanks,
out.
love. Oh, much love, not thanks,
Much
love.
love, much love.
Thanks,
Thanks,
love.
love.
Thanks
Cheers,
twice.
sweetie. Cheers,
Cheers,
sweetie.
love. Bye, darling. And that
It's
goes
not
to
going to
each
end.
and every one of you. And you see how the Zoom timer doesn't work?
It doesn't
We're
work.
still on, but we will.